We have this notion in the WDR of a plateau and cliffs. And what we mean by the plateau is a zone where the institutions that a country has are generally working adequately. They may be leading to some redistribution, they may have modest effects on productivity and employment, but as long as you're on that plateau, a reasonable zone of institutions that fit well with the context of the country itself, we find that it's not a major factor in the job story. But at the edges of these plateaus are two cliffs, and it's really important that we identify two cliffs. And if you're on these cliffs, you can have some serious problems. Now, labor economists tend to emphasize one of those cliffs, and that is excessive regulation, collective agreements between labor and management that is distorting in some way in the labor market, social insurance programs that create disincentives for workers to want to find jobs. So there is that cliff where the functioning of the market is being impeded by institutions that are just playing too big a role, too distorting a role. That certainly can happen in some countries, but in the WDR we want to also emphasize that there's a cliff at the other edge of the plateau, and that is where institutions are not strong enough, where there are inadequate instruments for social protection for workers, where workers don't have access to mechanisms for voice. That cliff isn't discussed as much, but it's no less real than the other cliff.